来都是很支持我们这些少数民族的尤其是我们中国的写传。那从我认识他或者之前呢，他的是一直都是这样热心热力的捧我们的场每一次有什么活动他都会来参加，不论怎么样忙，好像今天他还有另外一个约会的，但是他情愿跟他们说我要迟来，都要来这里先。所以呢，我希望我们也要对他表达一点我们对他的支持，那就是明年的选举，给他一票。And right, I will carry on and welcome our distinguished guests. 欢迎我们会永江先生，他是基督城友情写奖。My Mandarin is really good. 以上呢就是South Island of New Zealand 福建 Association and South Island of New Zealand 福建 Association, the President, Mr. Chen Hui-Ming. 就是以下这个就是新西兰南岛福建同乡会会长陈慧明。以下呢就是这个 New Zealand Chinese Medicine Society, the President, Mr. 江毅。那我还要讲中文吗？不用了因为每个人都知道了。So I don't have to speak Mandarin anymore. The principal of Ravi Ali School, Si Hong Lu. New Zealand Chinese Henan Association, Mr. Wang Pujing. Mr. Wang Pujing, he got some other commitment, he could not be here, but our association have to thank him for donation of $100 towards this opening. North-South Business Incorporation, the principal, Miss Angel Hu.
Coming soon.
Oh, she's coming soon. North-South Business Incorporation, Honorable President Mr. Clark Su JP. I think he's going to the airport pick up a couple of his friends, but he will be here soon too. The President, Mr. Ouyong Yi of the Changhua Chinese Society. And he also the Vice President of Guangdong Association. And the Vice President of Changhua Chinese Association, Helen Huang. Next, the New Zealand Council for the Promotion of Peaceful Reunification of China, the President Jenny Huang. South Island, let me see, Managing Director of New Zealand and Pacific Incorporation, Mr. William. Jenny's husband. Last but not least, Miss Candy Wu Zhang. She is the representative of the Office of Ethnic Affairs. I think that's all. And may I ask Leanne come up for a little speech?
Mana e na reo e na iwi tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa, ni min hao. Thank you, Simon. That was very naughty of Simon to say that last little bit of his welcome to me. I have always come to events like this because I think they're very meaningful and special to us. And they're special to us all for lots of different reasons. And one is understanding each other's cultures, and sharing people's art and culture is the best way that I know that we can get to know each other as people. So that's why I always come to events like these, and so I will sort Simon out later. I was reflecting on the way here with my friend Judith Tizard, who actually was an Associate Minister of Arts and Culture, and she supported Helen Clark when Helen Clark held that role as Prime Minister. And it was very important that the Prime Minister held the role of arts, culture and heritage, because it was about saying where that ranked in importance in terms of the nation state, our country, going forward. And we were talking about it on the way over here, and we were talking about when Helen first announced the free trade agreement with China. And one of the things that she said was about what that meant to a very small trading nation like New Zealand at the very bottom of a globalising world. And part of understanding our own culture is about our relationship with the rest of the world. Because until we're firm in that knowledge about ourselves, it is very hard for us to take on what other cultures have to offer us, and of course what emerges when you have a multicultural society but built on a bicultural nation. So it was a fascinating discussion that we had on the way over here, but I thought that it was a really important statement to make, because we do need to have that confidence in ourselves before we have relationships with others. And I remember a speech that Sir Dryden Spring gave, and he was the head of our dairy board before it was called Fonterra, and of course people know the name Fonterra very well. And he said to a conference that I attended that for all of the dairy board employees that were travelling from New Zealand to represent the dairy board in other countries, it was really important that they were confident in the first language of those countries. So when they had representatives in China, it was a requirement that they knew how to speak, well, Mandarin certainly. I don't know whether they had Guangdong connections at that time, but they had to be able to speak the language. And do you know the reason that he gave for this? And I thought this was really important, and I always remembered it. He said that you needed the language because the language was the root to the culture. That you couldn't understand the culture without the language. And that's been a tradition here in New Zealand, where Māori have reclaimed te reo as the root to their culture and a firm foundation for their place as the partner in a bicultural nation. And I found it absolutely fascinating, and I found a way of expressing it at the time, and I put it like this: language is the window to the culture, and the expression of that culture through the arts is the window to the soul. And that's what I think we're going to get today, because you have to, with three dimensions: art, wisdom and eternity. And when the three dimensions are brought together, then you have that speaking to the soul. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the exhibition. Simon told me I'm not allowed to speak very long, so that will do for me. But this is, art speaks to our hearts and our minds, and that is what we are going to experience today. So thank you very much for those of you who organised for the exhibition to come to New Zealand, but more importantly, thanks to those of you who organised for it to come to Christchurch so we could all share.
Next, before I invite Mr. Varatini come up to speak a little. I haven't forgot you, Liz, because there is still Judith. I forgot the name. Because we still have guests coming. So, as Leanne introduced you already, Judith is the former Minister of Art.
Associate.
Associate Art and Culture.
Yeah.
这位女士呢，叫做Judith Taser， 她的爸爸妈妈都是工党Parliament 里边的议员，她呢就是在奥伦的，她是从前这个艺术跟这个民法Associate Minister。还有现在呢，我们要补充的就是欢迎这个 South Island 河鼻 Association President Mr. Philippo Young. So, can I invite you, Mr. Ferratini, and come up and speak a little? Now, excuse me, this is my son. Alex, he's only 17. 这个是我的儿子 Alex， 他17岁，但是好像是1米8， 94公斤啊。因为他的妈妈是